just the other day, we got the release of Disney's Peter Pan and Wendy on Disney Plus. Now, mind you, this is a full-length feature movie that they decided to release on Disney Plus instead of giving it a theatrical release. And it's pretty much just what we thought it was going to be. A horrible rendition, woke rendition of the classic Peter Pan and Wendy. And now we can see right here that they think it's getting review bombed. Once again, you can't dislike a movie. A large group of people can't dislike a movie without them saying it's being review bombed. The Disney's Peter Pan and Wendy gets review bombed on IMDb. And that's Tinkerbell, by the way. Tinkerbell, Disney's longest, or one of Disney's longest standing mascots. You used to see her every time the Disney logo would come up. You'd see Tinkerbell fly over the Disney castle, and then she would do the thing with her wand. Blonde-haired, fair-skinned, and not anymore, because now we have to change things. We have to, because young girls, young black girls, can't identify with Tinkerbell because she's white. I don't understand that. I just don't understand that. I like watching Blade. I'm not a black vampire, or I'm not a black man, period. But I can identify with Blade, Wesley Snipes as Blade. I like watching Friday. I can identify with Craig and Smokey, and then Craig and Day Day. Right? And I'm not black. I'm not Ice Cube. I'm not Chris Tucker. So I don't understand this thing about we have to change characters so that other races and other people can identify with them. Now, I'm not saying that I know the struggles of black people. I don't. But we're not talking about that. We're just simply talking about them playing a character in a movie. And there's really no reason that you need to change things except to get attention drawn to yourself. So they say it's getting review bombed. They also say it was Moon Knight got review bombed, Eternals got review bombed, and the Toy Story spinoff Lightyear got review bombed. Also, The Last of Us and The Suicide Squad was bombarded with hate by fans of Zack Snyder's DC movies. Well, I like The Suicide Squad. I thought it was pretty decent, but I understand why The Eternals got review bombed, or didn't get review bombed. It got low reviews because it was a crap movie, okay? And no, they don't need to push some kind of LGBTQ relationship in your face, and that's exactly what they were doing. Lightyear had an LGBTQ relationship, but it was a stupid movie. Buzz Lightyear was this fun character from Toy Story. And in this movie, he wasn't, talking to Star Command and trying to fight Zurg and all this. He was trying to get off a planet with a cat. The Last of Us, I haven't watched it. I've never played the games, read the books, nothing like that. But I have heard that it's not being faithful to the source material. So, of course, nobody's going to like it. It's not being review bombed. They think that just because it gets a lot of low reviews that people are doing this on purpose. Peter Pan and Wendy swaps out the race of Tinkerbell, pretty much swaps the race of Peter Pan. Peter Pan was red hair, fair-skinned, and in this one, I guess he's some kind of Indian. Wendy is supposed to be 12 or 13. The girl, the actress that's playing her is 15, but she doesn't look it. She looks older. She doesn't look like the Wendy that you would expect. Right now, it's sitting at a 50.9%, 1 star on IMDb that's 728 votes. It's also been, I guess you could say, not review. I'm not going to say review bombed. It's got a low audience score on Rotten Tomatoes, which I'm surprised about that one because Rotten Tomatoes sometimes will embellish scores or freeze scores when they're not going in the direction that the studio wants them to go. Of course, the critics love it. They always do. If it's got any kind of intersectionality in it, the critics will just eat it up and love it. Right here it says they claim Wendy looks 40. Eva Gabo Anderson is 15 while the character is supposed to be 12 or 13 in the original book. And I think, where was that? I thought there was, well, you can't see her. You can see her better in the other pictures. We'll get to them in a minute. But this is some of the criticism. Worst attempt at making a movie I've ever seen. Nowhere near the original. It's not. Characters look nothing alike. Story changed and Wendy looks 40 years old. Why is it so difficult to just make the remakes be remakes and not trying to be politically correct or anything like that? That was another thing about this is the Lost Boys have girls in them. And that was not the point of the Lost Boys. The point of the Lost Boys was that young boys would crawl out of their cribs and get lost. And it was right there in the books. The reason that there was just boys was because girls were too intelligent to crawl out of their cribs and get lost. Only the boys. But I guess just throw that storyline right out the window. Because in this, they're still called the Lost Boys, but they're girls. I don't know, man. I don't know. They say that the guy Peter Pan, it seems like they just asked a random boy on the street. I've heard that his acting is horrific. This movie should have never been made. It feels all kind of wrong. Although the casting itself wouldn't have been bad. Everything else falls off. The story has been rushed through. The dialogue was awful, and the overall vibe is sad, not worth my time, and probably not yours either. So that's just saying that the movie wasn't any good. The casting was okay, according to this person, but the story was stupid. The way everything was put together was stupid. And like I said, the overall vibe is sad. And I saw some of the clips with Jude Law as Captain Hook, and he seemed decent. I mean, Jude Law is a good actor. I kind of like some of the roles that he's taken in the past, and he's definitely a good actor. Just in the wrong movie. And we'll look at Rotten Tomatoes real quick. Actually, let's look at IMDb. So there's Wendy. She definitely doesn't look 12. Not at all. I mean, 15. I know the actress, they say the actress is 15, but maybe it's the way they did her hair or something. And, yeah. And, of course, you got your Middle Eastern Peter Pan. 4.1 out of 10. That's bad. That's really bad. And I think Disney thought that this was going to be bad, that this movie wasn't going to do very good because they released it on Disney Plus. They didn't release it in the theater. So why wouldn't you release a full-length feature movie in the theater? Probably because you know the movie's not going to do very well. And you wouldn't have to pay all the theaters. You can just release it on Disney Plus and try to rake in some money. I don't see how. Disney Plus is still losing subscribers. So basically, here's a movie that you spent whatever amount of money on that isn't going to make any money because you put it right on streaming. I don't know if they'll release a DVD of it, but I don't know anybody that would buy it if they can stream it. So, we'll look at Rotten Tomatoes. And 21% audience score. Critics' consensus, Peter Pan and Wendy's obligatory fidelity to the animated classic keeps it from achieving Neverland Nirvana. I believe that says. Yep. But David Lowery's pensive direction gives this rendition some of its own magic. Like I said, the critics love it because it's got all this intersectionality and woke ideology in there. Let's take a look at a few of the reviews. 1 star. Couldn't even make it through the entire movie. Is this movie a... Oh, there it goes. Oh, no, I'm not going to disable my pop-up blocker because I don't want to see your ads. Is this movie a gauge on how creatively bankrupt Disney is? Yep. May the panning never peter. Oh, somebody liked it. They gave it 4 stars. I don't speak Spanish. A big disappointment. Jude Law is incredible as Hook. I mean, they gave it 3 stars. Like I said, the little bit that I saw with Jude Law as Hook, he seemed like a decent character. Like he was doing a pretty good job. Poorly filmed. Many shots that panned in slowly or moved across the landscape, like they couldn't stop moving the camera. Do things right for once. Poorly filmed. No tiene la calidad. I don't speak Spanish. So it's all the same, you know. We got some 5 stars, but more 1 stars than 5 stars. This is a half star. What the fuck was this film? Easily one of the worst films I've ever seen. Couldn't even finish it. Switch off before halfway through. So they knew it. They knew that this was going to be bad, and that's why they released it on Disney Plus. But my biggest pet peeve is how they say that a movie's being review bombed when it's just simply a bad movie. Even when we saw the first trailer, we knew this was going to be a bad movie, and we were right. And same thing for Lightyear. Lightyear was supposed to be the movie that told the story of Buzz Lightyear, which is why Buzz Lightyear became a huge success and all the parents bought it, and that's why the kid wanted it for his birthday in Toy Story, the first Toy Story. But instead, you turned Lightyear into, I don't know, it's almost like an adult film. It had nothing that would be appealing to a child, and yeah, so it wasn't a good movie. That's why it got low scores. Nowadays, they just can't handle that. If a movie gets low scores, it's being review bombed. That's their narrative. That's their go-to every single time. Every single time. And we'll have to see when The Little Mermaid comes out, because it's looking horrible. Just horrible. The race swapping Ariel aside, the characters, Flounder, looks dumb. It looks dumb. It's just a fish. It's not even a flounder. Okay? But it's just some fish that talks. They could have at least made him a little animated. Sebastian looks like a crab. He's just a crab that talks, you know, no expression on his face. No, that was the whole point of Sebastian, the expressions that he would get on his face, you know. Maybe they just don't understand that. And they've changed the story around, you know, because you can't have Ariel giving up her voice just to be with a man. And it seems that they've completely changed the ending, where in the original 89 movie, Prince Eric was the one that killed Ursula. But in this movie, Ariel's the one that kills Ursula and has to rescue Prince Eric. I mean, because you can't have women being rescued by men. So it's all the same. It's all the same stuff, you know. And that's why we don't like these movies. These people need to get it through their thick heads. But they won't. They won't. So that's all I got for you today. I hope you liked the video. If you did, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, all that good stuff, blah, blah, blah. Let me know what you think about Peter Pan and Wendy in the comments, and I'll talk to you next time.